I remember the morning of my surgery more clearly than the operation itself. My mother stood beside my hospital bed, adjusted the blanket around my shoulders, and squeezed my hand. "I'll be here," she said. "You won't have to worry about anything." Recovery wasn't supposed to be dramatic. The procedure was routine, but my doctor was clear that I shouldn't be alone for at least a week. I wouldn't be able to lift much, drive, or manage daily tasks comfortably. For once, I accepted help. Looking back, that was the hardest part. When I woke after surgery, the room felt strangely quiet. Hours passed before I reached for my phone, no messages. I texted my mom. "Everything okay?" Nothing. Another hour. Still nothing. Late that evening, she finally replied. "Sorry. Busy packing." "Packing?" I stared at the screen confused. Packing for what? Then my cousin accidentally answered that question by posting vacation photos. Before their flight had even boarded, my parents, my brother. His wife Deepan saw her luggage lined up inside the airport lounge. The caption read, "Europe, here we come. 3 unforgettable weeks." I refreshed the page twice because I genuinely thought I was misunderstanding what I was seeing. They had left, the day of my surgery, without telling me. I called my mother, straight to voicemail. I called again. Nothing. Finally, my brother answered. His voice sounded irritated before I even spoke. "Yeah? I just saw the pictures. So?" I thought Mom was staying to help me recover. A long sigh, then he laughed softly. "Your health isn't our problem. Don't ruin our vibe." There was a long silence. I realized I wasn't shocked by what he'd said. I was shocked by how calm I suddenly felt. "Thanks for the clarity," I replied. Then I ended the call. That sentence became the dividing line between my old life and the one that followed. Recovery wasn't easy. The first few days hurt. A neighbor brought groceries after noticing I hadn't left the house. One nurse helped arrange a temporary home care visit. Friends I hadn't spoken to in months checked in after hearing what happened. People with no obligation somehow showed more kindness than the family that had promised everything. Pain has a strange way of simplifying relationships. Once the medication fog lifted, I started organizing paperwork that had been sitting untouched for years. My parents had been living in a property I owned through a long-standing family agreement. No rent, no written lease, just trust. I'd kept it that way because I believed family should have stability. Now that belief deserved another look. I scheduled a meeting with an attorney. I wasn't looking for revenge. I wanted clarity. The lawyer listened quietly before reviewing the documents. His conclusion was simple. If you're ending the arrangement, do it correctly. Follow every legal requirement. Keep it professional. That's exactly what I did. Official notices were prepared. Every deadline complied with local law. Every document was delivered through the proper legal process. No raised voices, no dramatic confrontations, just paperwork. For the first time since surgery, I felt something close to peace. A week later, my phone exploded, missed call after missed call, 25 by dinner. Voicemails arrived one after another. Some sounded confused, others angry. A few suddenly remembered to ask how I was feeling. I listened to only one. My mother cried. "We're family." I almost called back. Instead, I replayed another memory. "Your health isn't our problem. Don't ruin our vibe." People reveal themselves in ordinary moments far more often than during arguments. When they returned from Europe, reality looked different. The legal process continued exactly as explained. No shortcuts. No special exceptions. The arrangement ended. Watching professionals handle the transition felt strangely unemotional. No celebration, no satisfaction, just consequence. Months later, my scar had faded more than I expected. Some family relationships hadn't. A few relatives tried convincing me to restore everything. Others quietly admitted they understood why I couldn't. I never asked anyone to choose sides. I simply stopped confusing obligation with love. Sometimes people think betrayal begins with one terrible act. Mine began with a promise spoken gently beside a hospital bed, and ended with silence loud enough to tell me exactly where I stood. The surgery healed long before that lesson did.